Hi, and welcome to We Hate Skill Windows, a podcast about hating skill windows. This is episode 24, I believe. Yes, if I'm correct, it would be episode 24, which is sort of crazy. One of these days, Chris, we're going to reach chapter or episode 50.
Ooh.
And then we can do something special, maybe. Maybe we can spend like 2 weeks and try to write our own. Or something dumb like that. But today we are here to review How to Live as a Villain. How to Live as a Villain is, it is a Korean webtoon featuring these guys who get stuck in this like virtual real or not virtual. I don't know. It's similar to like the plot of there's this Japanese manga series about like how to kill God or something or God's Game. I wish knew what I was talking about so I could explain it better. But basically, the main character and a bunch of other people from Earth are, oh well, as far as he can tell from Korea, are sent to this like alternate space where they are told that at the end of this like selection period, one person will be chosen to become God, and then like survive until then, basically. Main character decides that because he has no morals, he will just go ahead and kill everyone to make that happen. And the story is basically him somehow finding companions and somehow navigating this bullshit world. But yeah,
Yeah.
uh, I'll say it here first. I did not like this one. Uh, I was complaining about the art prior to recording, but as it turns out, it's just because they like riffed it badly. So you know what? Never mind. I'll take that back and say that it's got good art. But the scans are really bad. So if you're reading on anything besides Naver, apparently, just be worried. It looks bad. Uh, I I'll just complain, and then you can supplement, Chris, I guess. Um, the main character is irredeemable. I can only assume that he is written to be that way. I can only assume that he's written to be a piece of shit. And if they actually did not intend for him to be this horrible, they would have at least tried to redeem him. That's good writing, I suppose. But goddamn, I hate him. Let's talk about some of the secondary characters. Ellie is this mage that he finds in a dungeon. By finds in a dungeon, I mean that her whole party perished of unknown reasons, and he was the only one to find her. There's nothing more than that. Don't read into that. Totally no slaughtering happened. They all sort of just died, you know. But turns out she's like a sociopath or a psychopath, one of the other two, whichever one's sort of worse. Maybe both, honestly. And she's like super manipulative and sticks with fuck, what's his name again? Sun Hoon. Sticks with Sun Hoon for like her own benefit, but like intends to betray him if he ever does anything bad to her. Which, by the way, the internal dialogue of these two characters' relationship is just like, if he betrays me first, I'll beat the shit out of him. If she ever dares betray me, I'll kill her on the spot. So yeah, they're the best friends, trusted allies, as you could say. Somewhere down the line, Ellie picks up a kid. His title is murderer, which is apparently a title that is shared among a few other people. Or wait, his title is serial killer, I think, because the main character's title is murderer, right? Or something
The
like
main
that.
character is Betrayer.
Betrayer? Okay. What is the kid's title? I don't know. I thought it was
It
murderer.
is Murderer. It
Okay.
is Murderer.
I feel like you see someone else in the game, like a guild leader with the title murderer as well. Well, we can only assume that just means these people have killed a lot of people. But why the heck does Sun Hoon not have murderer? He's killed a lot of people.
Yeah.
Hmm. Things to
Oh,
wonder.
it's based off of the very first mission, I think. I guess in the first mission he was acting all buddy buddy, and then boom, kill. He got the extra special title betrayer.
Oh, but these other people probably just started killing off the bat or something.
Yeah, I guess they were just wacko.
Hmm. I mean, well, later on he gets villain though as the title, so it like
Yeah.
evolves. So maybe you're just like killer and then murderer or something. Because I
Or
think the
he
kid
got
got the
villain off
title.
of the.
Didn't the kid get the title after like slaughtering a bunch of soldiers
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
while like in the city? So I think it definitely
Yeah.
evolves, or you can like
And you
replace
get
a
you get
weaker
like new
title.
titles. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You just switch them around.
yeah. Anyhow, the kid's a uh,
I
he's
don't
like
know.
super dependent on Ellie and cannot live without her.
Yeah.
Which you know what,
Got
fair
like.
because she fucking brainwashed him into doing that. Uh, but he's just a kid who has the power to become like a berserker with a butcher knife. And then there's this
Okay.
sword lady. Oh yes, go on.
I was gonna say we just never see him ever after that. Like he comes in every now and then, it's all cute kid things, and you're just like, okay.
Cute innocent kid things like he's done nothing wrong in the universe and no one would dare harm him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he shows up like two or three times after he's introduced, after the dungeon that they're in, after you see him like kill a bunch of shit. And then he's just like part of the party. In fact, Ellie doesn't show up
Yeah.
much either.
Yeah.
Ellie shows up when she's needed. And also when the artists and writers decide, well, we'll put in a panel of, I'll fucking kill that guy if he betrays me. And then she's never seen again. There's this, is her name Mira or something? Or what's her
Mine or
name?
something.
Mine?
Yeah.
It's me something, me dash something. I can't remember right now, and I can't be bothered to look it up. Uh, but there's this like sword girl. I'm sure I could actually find it if I bother to look. But there's a sword girl anyway, and she's she's like really self righteous, like super duper self righteous. Um, to the point that she's really naive. She's like so good that she's bad. And this is shown when the main character is like trying to kill her and she interprets it as like selfless teaching moments from a mentor or some shit. I don't know. She's like deluded as all hell. Uh but she's really strong, got there of her own effort. Kudos to her, I guess. But yeah, that's our main cast. Uh there's like gods that sometimes appear and interfere with the world, but they're sort of marginal and not really that important at the moment. They've dropped stuff like
Yeah.
Loki and Hades and stuff like
Titan.
that.
Yeah.
But like they don't really do anything so far besides like watch over the orbs and choose their missions, I guess. So I don't really
Yeah.
know what their purpose is quite. But they're there. They're supposed to be important at some point. Um But yeah, the main part of this is just them existing on this like pseudo Earth environment and taking random like fantasy story missions and I don't know, like leveling up. That's like about it. The brunt of the story is this. At one point or another, they discover that they're not the only city and they have to go to war. Well, they don't have to. But they decide to go to war. But that's later on. The crux of this one though is just like I you like I can get making the main character unredeemable. I get it. It's called How to Live as a Villain. I'd be a little worried if the main character was not a villain. However,
Yeah.
to make every character a piece of shit is like an accomplishment. I can only assume that this is due to the stellar design work of the narrative that they are all meant to be pieces of shit. But if they are not all meant to be pieces of shit, then you failed. Because none of these characters, I do not care about a single character in this comic. I
Yeah.
read because it's something that comes out and because I've caught up. That's it. It's like the same reason why I would read like On My Way to Kill God, you know? It's like something to fill the gap. And it's also really shit. But like you read it because you can fill the gap of like, oh, it's Monday, new chapters come out Monday. But yeah, in terms of like how I feel about this one, it's a dumpster fire. But if it's meant to be a dumpster fire, I will give it more points if that is meant to be. But I don't know if it is. I like haven't looked into like do the author mean to make Ellie such a piece of shit? Actually, probably yes. But did the author mean to make the main female lead a piece of shit? Probably yes as well. But did they? You know, I haven't like researched it. But thoughts on your end?
Mm, yeah, this one's not very interesting. Like, I don't know. When uh, he's not even like crazy. He's just greedy.
He's like oddly rational,
Yeah, he's not very interesting. He doesn't do anything very interesting.
which I think is like maybe the
Yeah,
author is trying to portray him as like a psychopath, right? Isn't that like a thing for them to be like
he
rational?
he's not he's not portrayed really as a psychopath because he cares just a little bit.
But is that an act or is that
No, like it's like his thoughts. Like in his thoughts, sometimes the author's like, "Oh, frick, have to kill them. Oh no," and then he's like, "Yeah, I gotta do it. Survival,
hmm
be more powerful." And I'm just always like, "This is so contradictory." And like, why are you
hmm
trying to make him like I don't know appear human when
a monster
he
living in
is
a
kind
human
of
skin?
yeah he's just kind of he's like he honestly acts like a psychopath, but then like he has these thoughts, and you're just like, "But why do I need this?" Like it's confusing. And it just feels irrational too, because you're like, so he's having these feelings of like regret, and then he goes out and he's like, kill people, live as a villain. I'm like, what? What?
Yeah, there are
Why would you
points
even
where
add these
he
thoughts?
thinks about being like a better person, and then the next panel is like, ah, no, fuck it, I'm a villain, haha.
Yeah, I'm
And
just
it's
like, this
like,
is so unnecessary.
I
Why would you
just, yeah,
confuse us like that?
just commit to being a bad person.
Because it's not like he acts on those feelings at all. Like, ah, frick.
No, I
That's
guess
just,
the author wants to
yeah,
like portray it as like, I mean, honestly, to be,
survival or some crap.
well, okay, to be entirely honest, right? Like, if you got tossed into a box with other humans and the goal is to survive, and there's like zombies coming from everywhere, but like someone else has like a weapon that you want. I mean, if you were in the like capabilities to just go and kill everyone, it would be a thought, right?
I mean,
Like probably not an
I guess
actual
it depends on
thought you'd
your
act on.
morals. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess there are a lot of intrusive thoughts, but
Okay, here, let me make the scenario easier for you, just for the sake of this theoretical. If you got tossed in there, but it's a bunch of elderly people, and you have like a sharp bat next to you, or not a sharp bat, a really blunt but like good whacking bat next to you when you arrive, and
would
the
I
goal is
kill
to
everyone in the room?
yeah, the goal is to survive or like fight off the zombies. Would you save these elderly people who are like panicking and screaming and doing nothing to help you?
I mean, I'd try probably.
Maybe I made it too easy. There's a you arrive in a room and there's like just boxes of baby beds with babies in them. Would you kill the babies? Perhaps not. I don't know. Like I feel like last
Mhm.
week we were talking about Doctor's Rebirth and like what you would be doing if you got thrown into a world like this. This is definitely one of the ways to live. Like I can see this happening. Like someone gets tossed in there, They just decide, fuck it, I'll just become like irredeemable shit. But he does have time. He has times where he thinks of himself as not a piece of shit, which is crazy. Maybe he's just deluded. I don't know. A lot of characters in
He's
this are
like
deluded.
slightly deluded. Like I remember he was like, "Oh God, the way that the kid killed them was disgusting." I'm just like,
Yeah, are you not
you're
looking at a
such a
younger version of
hypocrite."
yourself? Like,
I'm just staring at him, going, "What the frick is up with this guy? Like, how could you even think that?" Like, I could take that if literally any other character had that thought panel. The fact that you had that thought. Oh my god, I
yeah,
was just like, what?
it's a little unfortunate.
Uh,
It's a little unfortunate indeed. But maybe
and
that's the
just.
point. Maybe they're just all blind to their own follies and faults. Maybe the kid
Mm,
thinks he's genuinely a good person. Ah, you think the kid like doesn't sleep at night because he feels bad for the people he killed? No, I think he tucks himself into bed. Ellie probably like tucks him in, kisses him goodnight, ruffles his hair, and he goes to sleep happy. You know,
yeah,
it's
I
the
was
good.
gonna
It's the small
probably.
things in life. You know, you take care of a kid,
Exactly.
you take care of more kids, you raise a cult. uh, you like the chapter where he like goes to the streets and is like, "You wanna have like food? We'll feed you if you fucking fight for me. All you need to do is accept
Yeah.
this, and I'll fucking brainwash you."
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, follow me and I'll take you to heaven. And I was like, yeah.
He's just a cult leader. I'm fairly good cult leader. That makes sense. That makes sense. Even like in other not so like horrible survival shows, like even in like the Hunger Games or like in smaller stuff, like even Squid Game or something, you can see that there's like people who have like lost the will to fight or like try to survive, right? So they do sort of show up in other places, and they are sort of useless baggage. But if someone did unite the useless baggage, they could become like. I mean, arguably, isn't that like the whole logic of like the beggar sect in a lot of wuxia?
Mm,
As a
yeah.
tangent, but I feel like there's always a beggar sect in wuxia worlds, and they all have the power to like unite this like beggar subclass of people living in many cities, and it's like revealed that all the beggars in fact know martial arts and sort of beg just because they're part of the beggar sect but not because they're actually poor or something. But that's a tangent. I don't know. Do you have complaints or good things to say about this one?
Mm, I've got a little bit of both. Like, as for like compliments, like the author is very hard trying to like throw in like this grand schemey storyline going, and I kind of appreciate that, and they focused on like the multiple different characters' perspectives on the entire situation. So they're like it. It feels like the author's really trying to make like a grand schemey storyline plot. It's just that the main character's not very interesting. Yeah. The storyline itself, from like the couple of arcs that we've seen, aren't very interesting. Like especially the war arc, where it was like it's like the entire time they're like, oh yeah, both the leaders didn't want to go to war, but they went to war,
Well,
and you're just like,
oh
okay.
yeah. You know what? To piggyback on that real fast, I have a question. Yeah, this is a question that you can answer, or maybe you can just agree with me on. The question is, why do the Japanese people all wear like traditional clothing, whereas the Korean city wears like Western
Just
clothing and just random armor and gear? But why do all the Japanese soldiers either look like they're from the samurai warring period or like are wearing like traditional Japanese shit? I'm pretty certain if you go to Japan and see like the people, the youth of today, like they're not. In fact, you'd probably see
nah,
them all in
they're
suits or
all
something.
samurai cosplayers and and they're all wearing yukatas. One of the two.
Yeah, they all have like two katanas stuck into the belt. What the fuck? Why?
Oh yeah.
Where are the like mages?
It was
Why does the
really
Korean city have like
funny.
straight
Yeah.
mages wearing like mage garb from like the Middle Ages, and they encounter these samurai? What the
In the
fuck?
Japanese, they were literally all samurai with like the samurai armor. It was like,
All
huh?
samurai, if not samurai, still got the like yeah, I guess like yukata or like maybe something more traditional. I'm not too
Yeah.
versed in it, but they all look like they're from like historical drama. But like the Korean
Yeah,
city
honest
looks
to
like they're
God.
equipped to like fight globally. And the main character just has
There's
a really benign main character coat. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's just a main character coat. He
yeah.
doesn't look like he's from Korea, if that means anything. He's not wearing like a what, like a hanbok or whatever we call it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if you're Korean, then you would probably look like stereotypical Korean, right? If you're trying to go for that look. No, the Koreans look like they're from anywhere and everywhere. The pink-haired
Yeah,
spear
of course.
guy, he just wears armor. He doesn't wear shit.
They just look like
The
they're from some
Japanese people,
RPG
they look
game,
like
yeah.
Japanese people. Wow, that's
I mean,
crazy. I am sure happy when they get to introduce the American city. It's just full of footballers, cowboys, and
cowboys.
Native Americans. Like,
Oh,
goddamn.
they did you see the American antagonist?
There's another here. Wait.
Yeah, his name is Jack Afferon.
Oh, the demon guy. who,
Yeah,
yeah, I didn't recognize that it was American. My bad. I just thought it was like
I
loud and obnoxious.
I just liked that they were like Jack Afferon. They just took a famous American actor. They
Wait,
just
Jack
switched it
Efron's
up.
real? Hold on,
No, no,
Jack.
Zac Efron from
Oh,
yeah, but they named this guy Jack Afferon.
oh, I don't really pay attention to that, so I actually did not recognize that.
Well, it might have just
Uh,
been the Asura scan. Honest to God, I don't know. I
honest to
just thought it
God,
was
it
funny.
could. A lot of these things could just be the Asura scan. We are just, we are just fellow sad people reading from a secondhand site.
It was good though. Oh,
Yeah. In terms of like the side characters in that way, yeah, there's that guy. There was like in the recent chapters, there's like this what like a Russian wrestler or something
oh yeah, sorry guy.
who's only Russian because his name is that, and he's like really big and like sort of looks like they tried to parody like Putin, I guess.
Oh,
But I don't know. His power is he's like invulnerable, and that's pretty cool. But they don't really explain anything. I don't understand the current arc. I'll just find that out. I don't understand why the current arc is just like so you're just like in this city, and in that city everyone else from anywhere else could be in that city. And for some reason
yeah,
you brought Ellie along, even though you could have just brought along the female swordsman, who would
yeah,
have been
Mirren.
infinitely better. But instead, you brought Ellie along. For some reason, even though you know she's weak. Oh, it's just. Oh, it's. Oh. Reading this makes me not want to be a villain. Uh, being a villain
Uh,
is sure hard work, I guess. I
uh,
suppose
the
the worst I'll
story
ever be in any game then is probably chaotic neutral. Or chaotic
yeah.
evil. I won't just be straight evil. Straight evil is such a piece of shit.
If none of the characters are good and the story doesn't feel
The world doesn't feel terribly inspired by anything. It's not like Earth exactly, but it's not Earth. It's like the
yeah,
gods went out of their way to make something so similar to Earth, it's just Earth. With
uh,
RPG elements.
yeah,
But nowadays anyone can have RPG elements. Also, since the podcast is called We Hate Skill Windows, do we hate the skill windows on this one?
Uh, there are so many worse things about it that
Yeah, I don't feel
he
like
didn't like abuse the skill window.
it
There's
doesn't.
some stupid things they did, but it's
There's not
kind
a
of clever
huge
too.
amount. There are
It,
some dumb things like the classes you can choose from,
yeah.
and how like the NPC just conveniently forgot to tell him that he could do the second awakening. Okay, that doesn't feel quite right. Everyone else knew, but not him.
Well,
How
not
the?
everyone. Apparently, no one knew it.
No, the swordsman knew it, or swordswoman.
Yeah, so she like whispered. She's like, "I didn't tell anyone. It's classified information." Oh.
Well, yes, but then you also see it later at the like guild leaders meeting that they had like about 150 people on the Korean side who had the second awakening. So I think they knew, they just didn't tell
They were
anyone else.
they were doing it the all natural. They were actually doing B rank missions.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Those suckers. Wait, but everyone went through the X class mission, didn't they? Didn't everyone clear that? Or
they didn't realize that it counted as their awakening mission. I guess
oh, also
because it's technically a forced survival mode or
one
something.
second, Chris. Oh, I think we're back.
Oh,
The OBS froze for a second, so I was a little
oh,
worried. I don't know why. I don't know why OBS would do that to me. It just said it was unresponsive, and I was like, huh, weird.
mm,
Not a good thing. Probably not a good thing. Computer's been acting up a little bit this week, so I can only hope nothing too bad happens. But things are feeling a little slow. Ooh, I open up Task Manager to check. Task Manager is unresponsive. Yes. This is what I wanted to see. Oh, what the hell? Something called NVIDIA container is taking up like 100% of my disk. What's up with that? What is NVIDIA container?
probably sounds like the thing that the OBS is storing the information in.
Ah, could be. Could be. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. That doesn't feel right. But you know what? We'll just keep recording it, I guess. Uh, let's rate the thing, shall we?
There.
Cool. Now that I know that the art is just the scans being bad, we can give the art like a 7 out of 10.
Ooh,
Listen, it's not redice.
it is still really, really, really good.
But it's not redice.
Okay, I'm gonna give
uh,
this a 9. I
damn.
think this is a
I'll have
really
you
good
know I
art.
disagree. I feel like it's pretty middle of the road. It's like done by good artists, but it's not redice. And if it's not redice, then can you really call it good?
Oh,
Oh man, redice has just risen that standard by so much. All right, the story. Would he call the story good? No, right? Uh, there is
there
a
really isn't.
story.
There's
It's
a
very
story.
loose. It's like if you were reading Gintama or watching Gintama for the story, and not for like the daily lives of these guys, but for like the global overarching plot of like the war.
Mm.
You would find very little story. Hmm,
And the story itself is
not very
really, I don't
interesting.
know. Like the main crux of the war arc was because some guy wanted to go to war.
It was
And
also
you're
just
just
that
like,
they discovered the cities.
yeah. And you're like, oh, it's because the villain manipulated it. But it wasn't even really the villain. like Yu Sung-hun didn't even really cause the war that badly. Like
No, the
he,
Japanese guy did.
yeah, and you're just like, well, what the frick? Like I don't know. It just felt so like it
Sun
felt like
Hoon definitely like
he,
helped fan the flames though
yeah,
by like
yeah,
burying
he
the
did
people
things.
and doing dumb shit like that.
Yeah, and I think he probably killed a couple people too to help what were going on. But it was just so.
Well, they sent assassins into the Korean base, didn't they? And then they got like killed. And then the Japanese guy was like, "Ah, yes, they killed our people, haha! Uh,
Or
war,
he
Casus
like
Belli."
it was like I think it was like the other way around or something. Yeah, I don't know, but it was such a contrived plot, and I felt like there wasn't solid reasons for anything that was happening, so it just kind of felt like things were happening for no reason. You're just kind of like, oh, okay.
It's like a necessary reason for the plot to move on in that direction, I guess.
Yeah, they just kind of made up something. They're like, this
But
is
they
it.
could
This
have
is the
just like
story.
introduced God interfering or something. But instead, it's fellow humans, I
Oh, yeah, and it wasn't even like it was like some random side character doing it too, and he wasn't even that like he was just stupid.
I don't
It
know.
just
Who
felt
knows? He could
so
become a main
ridiculous.
character. I think he's still alive.
Yeah, probably.
So you
Like,
know,
he was too weak to be a main character.
I could be a. He's
Ugh.
probably one of the main characters of the Japanese side. Don't count him out there. I can't wait
Yeah,
to see
I
the
just
rest of global Earth fighting. But
fighting
it's
each
like,
other for
oh
no
man,
reason.
have we seen a Chinese character? Have we seen someone wearing a cheapao yet? How do we
No,
tell they're Chinese? Are they wearing cheapao and do they have
they're
their
like,
hair braided down the side if they're a guy, and like if they're a girl, it's like, I don't know. So what other stereotypes can we pull from this shit? Where's the rice farmer
uh,
hat guy?
the rice farmer hat guy. Oh no,
uh,
yeah. And they're all wearing that like Chinese like I don't know thing looking thing.
what it means
Like
Chinese
the
thing looking
robe, like the
cheapao?
Chinese silk robe.
Is it not
The
cheapao
ones
or?
that or the chief house the girl one. What's the guy one called?
I feel like it was also cheapao. Well, time to look it up. Chinese traditional clothing male. What is the name of traditional Chinese male clothing? The Zhongshan suit, apparently? Huh.
What's the one that all the martial artists wear? Yeah, like the
There's
right.
Hanfu, I guess, but I don't
Oh,
think that's it.
Hanfu. Yes. Wait. Maybe it's not. Oh, okay.
I don't know either. I'm looking up a thing about it. Uh, this is a travel website made by Americans. I don't know. Uh, the Hanfu suit, the Tong suit, apparently. I don't know. They dress like they're out of like historical drama is the main point. But I'm gonna give the story like a. I. You think a 0 would be appropriate, Chris?
For the story. No, okay. It
Here.
has
Tell me why it
a.
wouldn't be a 0.
It's got. I don't know. It has arcs. It has the character. The characters are like trying to set something up. I don't know. The author's trying to set something up, and you can really tell that they're trying to like make this a really big like grand scheme type esque story, but
What
it's
I glean from it is the author has thoughts of setting up this global conflict and this like universal godlike conflict. But the author is also apparently playing the part of someone with Alzheimer's who continuously forgets what they have written and just decides, fuck it, we're going to war.
Yeah, they're not. I feel like
They're
they're
not
really bad at
pushing
like
it at
the.
all.
Yeah, they're really
Loki
bad at the
shows up,
small arcs too.
all the gods show up every so often, and it's like, oh, big things are happening. Oh, you like that human, don't you? And nothing else
Yeah,
happens.
yeah,
Loki's like given items to Sunghoon, but that doesn't mean he anything. Sunghoon doesn't even know who the fuck Loki is.
yeah.
It's
And then,
not
yeah,
really. He like connects it once. It's like, oh, maybe it's connected to the items I received back then. But he doesn't like do anything about it. He doesn't like look for Loki or anything. It's getting a two.
things are being thought
I'm being
about.
generous. I'll give it a 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
What are you giving it?
So,
We know it's not a
let
0
me
from
think.
you. But what is it?
I have to think of. So the first arc was just like him grinding in the random
Grinding
dungeons
missions,
and
somehow
meeting
getting
Ellie.
first place in the rat dungeon, besides poisoning the rats, and the swordsman woman actually like kills them all with her own skill, but
Yeah,
apparently his poison method was faster. That doesn't make sense.
yeah. There was the weird martial art thing where he beats people up with books.
I really don't like
Uh,
the logic of I can equip the book as a shield.
yeah, that's
Cue
such.
all the bits where
I
he's
don't know.
drawn with a book literally draped over his arm like it's a shield, but it's the worst part.
Yeah, and then there's the really weird, like, the one where he transforms into a girl.
That was the first Force mission though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Martial arts is second. But
yeah.
yeah, that one felt like it was copied from a bunch of other things. Uh in more particular parts, for example, Omniscient Reader also has points where people are forced to transport into like a scenario essentially, and they have to clear it by making their own story. Similarly, there is one called I think uh
The newbie's too strong where he transports into like the young prince's body or something.
I didn't even think about that one. I don't remember what this one is called. It's like is it called SSS Class Suicide Hunter or something? I don't know.
That
There's a
sounds
lot of
familiar.
these. These
If you
names
said
are
SSS
not
plus
unique.
anything, I'd have been like, yeah, that sounds about
Yeah,
right.
like SSS Class Pigeon Farmer. Yeah, that one.
Yes,
It
yeah,
sounds
you're right,
real.
yeah.
It's so horrible. I think it's SSS Class Suicide Hunter. There's this one basically where it's like very omniscient reader inspired ish feeling where you're climbing a tower. So I guess that's like built from different parts. But there's like people who like you and like your stories, and then you have to like fulfill scenarios by this like
Oh,
librarian. So I guess it's closer to like omniscient reader in the like making fables, like making your own stories. Particularly, they're tasked with creating satisfying endings for like 4 failed novels, essentially. And in one of them, they're all transported into the bodies of like nobles, I think. The other one, they're transported into the bodies, or they're just sent into a dying world, essentially. It's like different every time. And every time it's like you have to gotta learn how to like be that character, not raise suspicion, uh, stuff like that. But I don't think that one's that bad. It's really surprising that a lot of people suspected the guy of being not an NPC, but didn't call it out. I would have
yeah.
just said something like, "Hey guys, just real quick, do you think maybe that's not an NPC and maybe that's just like a piece of shit being a piece of shit?" But everyone was so deluded by like, oh my god, the rune blade. I want the rune blade. If I keep the secret to myself, maybe they'll give it to me. Maybe they'll give me the feathers of rebirth. Uh, uh, the pain. What do you rate it
Yeah.
though?
I would probably give it like a 3.
Honest deliberation for a 3. I thought you were gonna be like, I'll give it a 6. Okay, so here's a question, right? How do we rate the characters? Do we rate the characters on how much we like them or what they are intended to be written as? Because if what we're rating them is based on, like, are they written well or written badly? Well, in this case, I can only assume that they're written really well because they're all pieces of shit. But if we're basing it off of like how much like the reader is entertained by these people, it's like next to nothing. Like, yes, you can write really shitty characters. Like, shitty characters with unredeemable, shitty pasts and futures. But then there's like very little stake for the reader to keep reading. I read this thing because it comes out, and every so often I'm like, oh, just new chapters. I'll click on new chapters. Click, 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 click. And then I realize, ah, shit, I didn't really care for this one. Maybe I'll drop it later. But like,
Hmm.
yeah, I think I will probably drop this one after this review as well. But uh, I don't know. Maybe I'll pick it back up. I don't know. Why am I still reading The Daughter is the Final Boss? I don't know. The real good questions there.
Ah,
And that one has very mediocre story as well, but it's got a cute daughter and a cute talking cat. The cat can talk. The cat's a magical teacher. Ooh. No webcomic has ever dared to do that before. That's crazy. How original. Yeah. Uh the bar is really weird. Where's this one's cute mascot character? That's the question. If this webcomic had a cute mascot character, like animal or whatever, and I'm not saying it's the kid, uh you think it would make it better? I think it would.
100%, you're right. Yeah, it would be better because of it.
Yeah, like even in what was the one we reviewed? Your Talent is Mine. He gets like a funny talking fox. Instantly better.
Yeah.
Cute fox makes everything better. God damn.
Suddenly there's
Just
a likable character.
yeah, suddenly there's a reason to keep reading. Oh my god. You're right. Alright, I'm giving the characters a 2 as well. Congrats. What are you giving it?
Oh, I feel so bad because I feel like I really did not enjoy the story at all, really.
Give it a 0.
But it seems like this author tried slightly harder to like actually make things happen than some of these other stories with like trash characters, nothing good except for this
I
one
feel like
great
I should just be
character.
harsher with shit. I feel like I
Ugh.
let Your Talent is Mine off the hook. I probably gave the characters like a 4. And they were definitely just written badly and not like written to be villains.
Yeah,
Evidently, because like
that's
Your Talent
fair.
is Mine, the guy still cares about his sister despite like being a piece of shit. I don't know. I feel like if you feel like it deserves worse, just give it worse. You know what? We need to stop giving things 7.83. Goddamn, like half of our list is 7.83. But that's my
Mm,
opinion. What will you rate it?
well, yeah, I'll give these characters like a 4.
You heard her here first. That's a 4. Still higher than what I would give it, but you know what? Here we are. Alright, so we've got a 2.5 plus 8, which is 10.5. 10.5 plus 3 is 13.5. I can't do math in my head anymore, so I'm just gonna just go to Google. Google tells me that's a 4.5. That sounds about right. I could live with that
Well,
score. It's not a 7. The art didn't carry it that hard. Uh, Honestly, a lot of these, and as we review more of these and actually like put out these episodes and not just talk about them, uh, I'm realizing that a lot of these scores are just straight up like carried by the art. Like
100%, yeah.
it doesn't even really matter Well, it does, I guess. I was gonna say it doesn't really matter if like we give anything else. I guess that would just be like a straight 3 out of 10 if we gave it like 10 out of 10 on art, but like nothing else. But like, or not a three, but like 3.33 or
Low
something.
score.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like most of the time, it's like the story is decent, the characters are decent, the art is
God
insane.
tier. Insanely
Yeah,
good. Holy cow.
I.
Wherever they find these people.
That's a real good question. Did they just like poach from Redice? You wonder. Too much of a Redice fan, perhaps. But goddamn, Redice just creates quality. And I feel like Redice sets the bar for everything else to be that quality. So that's how I feel about it. I feel like it's personally not the best. This one, read it if you have nothing else to read, and then let us know in the comments how much you hate the main characters. Because that's really the only takeaway I can take from this one. It's really quite shit otherwise. It's really not. Man, oh man, is it just really painful to get through.
It just has so little happening in it, and all the character arcs are just so, I don't know,
Bland,
not very interesting.
I think, is the word you're looking for. Even
Yeah.
like learning that like Ellie has the power to like brainwash people. It's like, oh wow, that's sort of neat. Wonder what she'll do with that power. Nothing. She does nothing with that power. She
Yeah.
brainwashes one kid and maybe like a few other beggars and does fuck all with it. She could have literally became like the queen of insane people,
I know, right?
but she doesn't do anything. You'd expect her to do something, anything, right? But nothing
The
happens.
author does so little with the story, and when something major happens, it's always for the stupidest reasons, like, oh, these people want to fight. Yeah, fight. Or forced combat, go, scenario.
Forced combat because nothing's happening because we need something to happen. Yeah,
Uh,
it just feels inorganic. I don't know. I feel like they've made a world, yes, but they like it. It's not. It's not fitting together quite right now. And I like to pull from this one. You'll hear me pull from it a lot if you actually listen to these episodes. But Denma. I feel like every time I say Denma, maybe Krish's soul dies a little. But I'm just saying, if you get to the end of Denma, or well, the end that you have on Webtoons rather, you'll realize that like every little plot point from the very beginning up until like chapter 600, 700 are connected. They are connected in super small ways, but you see everything literally fall into place. And it's this like huge rush to get there, obviously, but everything does make sense in the end, and it's so cool. I really like it for that reason. But then again, then was like 4 panels every week, so it's that's different compared to these,
oh,
which is like actual chapter every week. Then was just shorter in general, which is why it's got more chapters. I would argue, but yeah. So the end score for this one is a 4.5 out of 10. Honestly, if it was up to me, I would say it deserves less. But, you know, it's smaller than the other scores we give things, so I'll take it. That begs the question then, what are we reviewing next week?
your turn, go.
It's my turn. Next week, the 28th, we are going to review something. It's going to be pulled from a sorta again. Wow. It's like we read on there or something. Crazy. We could just review something on like webtoons. We
Yeah.
could. There's nothing stopping us. We actually could be like actual legit supporting the actual authors for once, you know? It's sort of crazy. Okay, here's
Hey,
a question. Do you want to review Unordinary? Or no, that might be too
Ordinary.
large. I don't know if I don't read through that all again.
300 chapters.
Yeah. I want
Uh,
to try to pick something
I'm
that's a bit more
thinking.
mid-range for my
I mean,
own
I
benefit.
could read on ordinary. What did I drop it? Uh,
A while ago? Like a decent while
227.
ago, I feel.
Yeah, I dropped like 80 chapters ago. That's bad.
Um,
Ah,
we could review Room of Swords. Or perhaps we shouldn't review Room of Swords.
wait, is that about similar length?
I don't
Oh, it's not
know.
even a.
It's
I
I
would
don't
say
even
Room
know
Sword's
where it
not even
is
a
right
power
now.
fantasy though. Ugh,
It's a mind fantasy. uh,
fine.
yeah, it's not really. Uh, Webtoons just has generally better shit, but then you can also find the shittier shit down at the bottom. So we could try to review Seven Fates Choco. I don't even know. Is that a power fantasy? I can't tell. I haven't read enough of it to tell. But it's Redice, isn't it?
It's,
Huh? It's Redice.
you're right. That's the BTS one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to try? We could try. It's got 39 chapters. You know what? That's a decent amount.
That's
I don't know if this is
pretty
a
good.
power fantasy, but it's. Or is it Redice actually? It says it's Hive. I thought it was
Yeah,
Redice,
it's,
but it might not be.
Hybe is the company that owns BTS.
Oh, okay. Is it drawn by Redice or is it just. I don't know where I got the thought process that it was drawn by Redice. Did you say it at some point, Chris? Or.
I'm checking right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not.
Seven Fates Tacos drawn by Redice,
Oh, okay.
according to Korean Webtoons Wiki.
Understood. All right.
Oh,
Fuck it, it's Redice. It must be good, right? Let's go based on that logic. Let's go and review Seven Fates Choco. Update the thing here. Seven Fates Choco. Don't know what this is about. Not gonna lie, I've looked at this a few times. I've tried to read it, and I realized do not give a flying fuck about BTS, so therefore I just stop. Because I am sure there's like in jokes for Korean fans or K-pop fans. Actually, you know what? If you're reading this with me, maybe you can like break down some things. I don't know how much you're invested in BTS in particular, though. I know
oh,
you know more of K-pop than I do, so maybe you'll understand a bit more. I don't know. It
we'll
depend.
see, we'll
Well,
see.
we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, we will leave you there. Thank you for listening. If you are still listening, if you are, then thank you very much for actually listening to this podcast all the way through. We see the average number of, or at least I don't know. I check the analytics sometimes, and I see that the average viewer stops viewing the thing at around 14 seconds into the podcast. That's a whopping 14 seconds and means that you are not paying attention to the rest of the 50 fucking minutes you're missing. Crazy. How dare you do that? If you actually listen,
Oh,
though, thank you very much. And if you actually do listen, please comment below and say, like, fish or something. Fish cakes, I don't know. Just tell me that you're actually here. I just want to know. I just want to know if we actually have any people listening to us. Oh, goddamn. But, yeah, if you do listen, I don't know, subscribe and give it a like and shit like that. All right. See ya.